Do you have a job that the average person doesn't even know exists? I start on Friday as a standardized patient. Essentially, med students practice their bedside manner on me. They practice a lot more than bedside manner on some standardized patients. We have one guy locally who is the go-to for Drez. He gets paid to have a class of med students locate his prostate. I cut eyes out of dead people. I am an eye bank technician. I surgically remove corneas and whole eyes from donors for cornea transplants and research. I think most people don't want to know about my job. Well, when I die, I'll be seeing you, or not. I spent a summer balancing beer trucks. The object of job is to make sure that the beer truck is as full as possible at all times, ideally picking up on skid of empties when delivering one skid of beer. Beer truck Tetris, it's a thing. Physical hydrogeologist. I image the ground using water flows. So you're a water bender. I'm a channel manager at a YouTube network. I basically get paid to watch and maintain YouTube channels all day. My job didn't exist when I was in college. I didn't get it, but I once applied for a job as a heritage officer. Sounded normal enough, but it involved basically going around cemeteries photographing graves and keeping a log of them. It was so unusual I was desperate for it, not to mention working alone and out in the fresh air. So what do you? Oh, you know, look at graves. That sounds like it's a cool job. Heritage officer doesn't seem to be a popular position here in the States. I make products look pretty for a home shopping television station. I am responsible for breaking toys and write reports about them how they break. A totally different job from my previous job, using promotions from online casinos to earn a living and travel the world. Dear diary, today I choked on a toy hat. I write manuals for tanks, how to operate them, how to repair them, etc. Fish tanks, pressure tanks, or M1A the 2nd of September tanks. I sell Lego pieces. I buy bulk Lego sets, normally from Amazon or whoever else online has the best deals, part out the pieces, and list them individually on my online store. My customers are generally one of two people. Adults who want 1000 of something, but don't want to buy 100 of a set to get it, such as a red 2x4 brick to build an enormous structure. Parents whose kid wants a specific minifigure that happens to only come in a set that costs a lot of money. The kid doesn't want super duper playset number 12. He wants the gold ninja. So instead of spending $130 for the big set, they can spend $15 on just the figure, and it works out well for both of us. Generally I can part out a set for around 200-250% of its purchase price. More if I find it on clearance or in a really good sale. My wife and I also make monthly trips to our nearest Lego store one state over to buy hundreds of dollars of pick-a-brick pieces to put into our inventory. Our store is still pretty small, but there are many people who have become wealthy doing it after a lot of hard work. It requires some initial investment, willingness to run to the post office to occasionally ship a 3-cent part, and excellent customer service skills. The largest hazard of the job, your chances of stepping on a Lego in the middle of the night go up substantially when you have over 100,000 pieces in the house. Have been going through this thread for over an hour and this still seems like the best job listed. Met a guy last week who buys the used metal dentists use for fillings and crowns, etc. Apparently dentists use a lot of precious metal. Precious metals are usually non-corrosive, which would be desirable for stuff being stuck in your mouth. I am an assistant for an escort service. I lost my real, and pretty good, job about a month ago. Now I schedule appointments for escorts. Most of my friends know. My mom thinks I am a personal assistant. I kinda am. H. Booker. For a while I repaired books at a library. I think most people assume that when books get old they are thrown away and bought new unless they are collectible. Well, the composition of books in a research university's library is very different from a local branch library, and almost everything we had was collectible in some way. Not necessarily monetarily valuable, but often rare. Many early 1900s books about local economic policies, and proceedings from city council meetings, and a whole lot of grad theses that had not been checked out once since their publication. I'm a professional prosthesis bra fitter. I fit women who have had a mastectomy, usually women who have had breast cancer. I manage an adult literacy program. Most people think it is some sort of elaborate book club, or that I am mistaken and meant to say that I teach children to read and write. Sadly, my job exists because 1 in 6 adults are functionally illiterate where I live. My field is medical illustration. I specifically do medical legal work, so for courtroom purposes, when I travel by airplane, I just claim to be a bartender again, as it gets a little dull explaining over and over. On the plus side, I know what you look like on the inside. I work for a superstore and they send me to a competitor across the street in plain clothes. I take a device, PDA, that holds a list of items on it. I locate the items and record the price. Every week, I'm a competitive shopper. At a previous job we had a guy that did that. Eventually we just asked him if he wanted the price list we made every week. One of my best friends writes jingles for commercials. Advertising firms fly him out to Nashville like once every other month for a week and tell him what kind of vibe they want, and he just thinks of 30 seconds of goofy crap to give them. I put music in movie trailers. Pretty random and pretty awesome. There is a guy in the company I work for whose sole job is to dream up patents. That patents don't even have to do with the company or the industry we work in. He could patent something like a method for tethering the moon to the earth with a giant rope. His job is to dream. So he's the guy responsible for all the ridiculous patents we abstract. I'm a study startup specialist. Drug companies pay me to start up a drug trial. I do all the legal ethics and regulatory submissions and find doctors to run the studies. Everything up until the patient gets the drug. I work for myspace.com and I'm not Tom. No clue that still existed. When I was younger, I worked in music and Lemuel paid one of the bands I worked for to record a live EP. We went to their corporate offices and I really had no freaking clue something like that was able to have offices. I make pig feed. They aren't just fed corn. A lot of science involved. Their diets change almost monthly with the weather, so we are constantly changing the nutrients we give them. Also, a little nugget that blows my mind. Pigs naturally all bite each other's tails off as a dominance thing, like squirrels do. However, simply increasing their magnesium in the diet will make them not bite each other. For some reason it has a calming effect on them. Magnesium is a pig sedative. I work in nuclear power plants around the country. When they shut down every 18 months or so, I go inside reactors and refurbish and test motor actuators on valves to ensure safe operating conditions. A few quick things in case anyone is curious. No, it's nothing like The Simpsons. Yes, I am exposed to radiation and, no, I don't glow at night. This exposure is constantly monitored and relatively safe. It is a very well paid job but somewhat dangerous due to safety concerns and higher levels of quality we must adhere to. I've considered the idea of doing an AMA if anyone would be curious. I make people do a shot of Screech, kiss a codfish and say funny things. My official job title is Screecheriner. It's a tourism job for the province of Newfoundland and I do it every day over the summer. Twice a day. It's a tradition here for welcoming people to the island and is basically the best job ever. I saw the word screech and cod and didn't need to go any further to know where you were from. Huh? I write instruction manuals for installing various equipment. Even the people I work with do not know what I do. I am a range safety officer. I walk endless miles up and down a firing line full of grown children with loaded guns and correct them when they do stupid crap. Having a loaded gun pointed at me doesn't faze me anymore. Partly because I'm desensitized, partly because I hate my job and the sweet release of death would be the next best thing to just punching my manager and quitting. I regulate motion pictures for the government, meaning, I spend my days watching movies before they are released and reviewing pornography before it can be sold in stores or shown in booths. I drive tugboats. It's fun. Fighting round the world. I'm an orthoepist. I work at an audiobook publisher, where I research the correct pronunciation of people, places, things, and foreign languages, so that the actors reading the book sound like they know what they're talking about. As far as I know, there are only 2 of us in the country. I am a travel trainer. I teach people with learning disabilities how to use public transport independently. It's an awesome job. I'm an ejection seat mechanic. I am an analyst at an engineering company. I run to the store, get cookies and lime Diet Coke every day for my boss. I'm a sign artist at a well-known neighborhood grocery chain. Everything in the store is drawn written by hand, even down to the price tags on the shelves. I'm the one that wakes up at the crack of dawn to do this. Cute illustrations on the displays? Me. Awesome window paintings outside? Me. Hilarious cartoons and wall murals? All me. When I mention it to people, they have never noticed. I string tennis rackets. My only clients are the 1%ers in town. I'm an epidemiologist. When people ask what my profession is, I have to repeat it like 2 or 3 times before I just say research scientist. I'm an industrial hygienist. It's a type of health and safety consultant. I'm a woman in my 20s and before clients meet me, like only discuss quotes or need consultation via email, they refer to me as the mold guy, the asbestos guy, the insect guy, etc. I'm the person your insurance company hires to investigate losses. You call when you have mold and don't know what to do. Or when your factory may be violating a health and safety code. I come out. I'm not from OSHA. I'm a consultant. I don't care what you do on the job, but best believe I will make a recommendation in my report based on your unsafe practices. But seriously, that's all I can do. Make recommendations. I do user interface design. Not only does the average person not know it exists, I can show my work to the average person and they won't see it. That's how I know when I did a good job. It sucks when software developers don't know it exists. We know you exist, the company just won't hire one, and then they complain when our GUI isn't nice. I'm a software engineer, not a designer, damn it. If you ask me to do a GUI, you are going to get 3 colors, plain text, and a button. My team loves you guys. When we're fortunate to work with you. I monitor offenders that are on conditional release, house arrest, etc. Some of them have an ankle bracelet that locates them via GPS and others are under the voice recognition system. This is a system in where the offender gets a check-in call at random times of their curfew. There is a recorded version of their voice and this software verifies that is the same voice. If they fail the call, I call the offender and ask him/her questions to verify their identity. Depending on the risk level, I can call the police to report a breach. Not me, but my aunt is one of the leaders of the ski patrol at Breckenridge Ski Mountain in Colorado. One of her many jobs there is to fly around in helicopters and throw dynamite out the window in order to set off avalanches before someone does it accidentally. Nice. I would have business cards made. Professional avalanche starter dynamite is alright. I put handles on coffins. That's it. Most people know someone makes coffins. They don't know that you can have the job to just put the handles on. Equine sports massage therapist. Not quite my job yet, but finishing certification in May. Okay, you are in the top 2 of jobs I didn't know existed so far. I work for Cha-Cha. I think some people think I'm a robot when I'm actually not. I work in audio post. When you watch a movie TV show, almost all the sounds you hear were not captured by the mics on set. Also, about half the dialogue you hear was added months later during sessions called ADR sessions. When you see booms on set, they are typically only used as a reference. We'll try to use as much production audio as possible, but it's not always possible. We'll spend hours just working with a scene where 2 people are sitting at a table adding the tiniest details. Last but not least, all the sounds you hear in cops, engine noise, heli blades, gunshots, sirens, maneuvers, are all fake typically. Sorry. I go to various retirement homes pretending to be looking for one for my mother-in-law. I'm given tours and have to write reports as well as make recorded phone calls. I'm sent in by head offices so that they can find any problems in the homes. I trim medical marijuana for dispensaries. I met this guy at a bar that told me he trims pot. I asked him if it was the medical stuff and he told me heck no man, it's full out illegal, I don't give a frick. I think I had been talking to him for 5 minutes. You've been spotted by the doggo of studying. Like this video for good grades for the next 2 years. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.